Hey, Zeke, can you come here for a second? All right, so the Bravia 9 just came in for that Versus with the X11. Dude, I know we had plans for the day and everything. I need to get out of here. The studio is a mess and I'm not in the mood, and it's a beautiful day outside. So how do you feel about taking a drive? All right, come with me. We're gonna visit our old friend, the Toyota Tacoma 13-year-old truck. If you've been following me for a while, then you are familiar with this vehicle. I've had it for a while, and Pioneer has actually installed a system in this truck quite some time ago. It was time to update that system. When I bought it, it had the stock thing in it. It was okay, as stock stereos are. But the one that I had in here still sounded good, but as far as tech goes, was super dated. Now I have one in here that does Dolby Atmos. That's right, it does full-on Dolby Atmos in your car. I gotta show you this thing. Okay, so if you didn't see the original install video for this truck, Pioneer gave me their top-of-the-line CarPlay receiver. I believe it was the first CarPlay receiver that you could get. Also, at the time, the screen felt pretty big. Times have changed though. I mean, stock car screens are way bigger now, anywhere from 8 to 10 to even 13 inches, I think, if you own a Tesla, whatever the size is there. I'm gonna be honest with you, I had a little bit of size envy. So I was really excited when Pioneer told me that they had a brand new deck that had Dolby Atmos built in. And my first thought was like, hold on a second, are we talking about real Dolby Atmos right now? Pioneer told me, yeah, it's real Dolby Atmos. So what I'm gonna be showing you today is how you can not only get legit Dolby Atmos, and when you can get legit Dolby Atmos.
Apparently now.
We're gonna get real Dolby Atmos right now, as a matter of fact. Let me explain a couple of things. First off, we're talking about real Dolby Atmos. That's gonna come from an iPhone only, and only when that particular piece of music is available with spatial audio. Otherwise, it's going to be virtualized. Now, Android has announced that it's planning on supporting spatial audio, but they haven't actually started to do that yet. And we don't really know when that's going to come along. However, rest assured that when Android does support Dolby Atmos or spatial audio, we'll be able to use it on this deck as well. I suppose now is a good time to tell you that this is the SPHERA 8000. The actual model number is much longer. We'll show that on the screen. There's also a SPHERA 6000, and I'll explain the difference between the two. This is the 8000. This is the one I'm going to recommend because it does a full 4-channel Dolby Atmos. And I'm going to tell you all about that while we take a little bit of a drive. So first we have to talk about Dolby Atmos without having a complete Dolby Atmos lecture. Dolby Atmos was designed to accommodate up to, I think it's 128 channels of sound for the theater, but it's always been scalable. So whether you had a home theater with 5 speakers or a car with like 4 to 9 speakers in it, it can be scaled. It knows how many speakers there are to produce Dolby Atmos effects no matter how many speakers you have. The important thing to understand about the SPHERA 8000 versus the 6000 is that the top of the line model, the 8000, has a 4-channel DSP. That means that it can discreetly interpret metadata for the front left, front right, and rear left speakers, as well as a subwoofer channel, to give you Atmos effects that are kind of unreal. It can make it sound like there are sounds coming from the Hyundai Elantra 15 feet off to your right. It can make vocals sound like they're coming from well above the ceiling of your particular car. And part of how that works is that there is a calibration system where Pioneer actually calibrates the speakers to within centimeters between the speakers and your seats. It even accommodates for different reflective surfaces where your windows are, whether you've got leather seats or cloth seats, whether there's cloth on the dash, all to present you with the most comprehensive Atmos presentation possible. Now, Atmos at present, as I mentioned before, is only available from the iPhone, whether you're wireless, as I am here now, or you're plugged in. And part of the reason it can do high-res, lossless Dolby Atmos, whether you're plugged in or not, is because it's actually sending that signal via Wi-Fi. You can't do that via Bluetooth. For any other music that you have that is not Atmos, and let's be honest, the Atmos catalog is growing, but is still limited, there is a sort of virtualized 3D spatial audio that Pioneer has built into this deck that's going to give you a very similar sort of experience. If you don't like it, you can turn it off and you get a much more conventional stereo experience. But the more you optimize this system, the various different channel levels, the calibration, and all that other stuff, you start getting used to how that Atmos effect is. One of the other bonuses is if you want to show off your system, you can actually optimize it for the driver, the person in the passenger seat, both people in the front seat, or the entire cabin. Now, obviously, the less specific it is set up to be, the less convincing the Atmos presentation is. But it's really fun to be able to share that experience with more people in the car, or just yourself if you're flying solo on a long road trip. That's been huge for me because during the weekends, I play a lot of weddings. It requires a lot of long drives, and I really enjoy listening to music in Dolby Atmos as I make those drives. It's kind of like rediscovering music, but in your car. Talk about that a lot in home audio systems, but rarely do you talk about rediscovering music in your car. Now, Apple actually has a spatial audio playlist. So if you want to listen to all Dolby Atmos tracks, you can do that. Just put it on shuffle and start discovering new music that way. I've actually experienced some new music that way and discovered artists I didn't even know existed, and I like their music. Now, earlier I mentioned there's a big difference between the flagship SPHERA 8000 and the 6000 model. It's that 4-channel DSP. That's going to give you the real Atmos. And only with this top of the line model do you get the real Dolby Atmos. But you still get the virtualized spatial audio effect through the 6000 model. Otherwise, the interface is very similar on both of them, but now we need to start talking about sound quality, the fidelity of the audio system. The 8000's onboard audio is actually really impressive. It's got the biggest power supply they've ever put in a deck, and that's because there's a little extra space for it. But that provides the onboard amplification a lot of oomph. That's going to serve stock speakers pretty well, but it's really going to light up any premium audio speakers that you put into the vehicle. Now, I just happen to have some Kevlar speakers from Pioneer from way back in the day, and they still sound excellent. In fact, they're still one of the more premium options that you can get from Pioneer, just a little bit older of a model. But I actually have an amplifier in this truck. It drives all the speakers and the subwoofer, so I'm relying on premium preamp outputs on this particular deck. It puts out an extremely clean signal to the amplifier, which again improves the overall audio fidelity. So even if you have an amp in your car, this is going to make it sound better. Now for a few complaints, because no product is perfect, and that is certainly the case here. I'm finding the user interface a little bit difficult to get used to. And I don't think that's just because I had a previous older Pioneer deck with an older interface. I've had other people use this truck over the time that I've had this new deck in my car, and they also have had a hard time figuring out how to find the volume dial unless they use the steering wheel controls. Once you understand how to do it, it becomes fairly easy, but there is a bit of a learning curve. So if you get this and you find it a little frustrating to use at first, that's understandable. Take some time to learn it. Kind of like learning a new computer interface. You've got to learn where all the button exists and where all the settings exist. You're going to want to go ahead and calibrate this thing with the included microphone. That takes a little while to do, but if you put in the effort, it's going to reward you with some really surprisingly convincing Atmos effect, as well as just a huge overall fidelity and sound quality boost. The last thing I wanted to mention about the user interface is that it's sometimes hard to pull up this sidebar on the right. If you don't know where to press, and it's actually just this little dual arrow thing in the upper left-hand corner, you're not going to be able to pull that up easily. And that means that the volume control is basically hidden from you. If you have steering wheel controls, you'll be fine. But if you're looking for the volume control on the screen, it's not going to be there unless you know how to pull up this little sidebar menu. And if you don't know that the sidebar menu has 3 different pages for it, you may be on like page 2 or page 3 and be unaware that the volume is on page 1. The other thing that I personally like about the system, but could be a problem for you, is the 10.1-inch screen. Like if I wanted to put this in my little convertible, it's not going to go in there. It's going to block the hazard lights and the seat warmers and all the other stuff that are in that car. And so this deck is not necessarily going to fit in everybody's car. Also, I understand that increasingly these days, the stereo is the information hub for the entire car. And it may be a little scary to think about replacing it, but you'd be surprised what installers can do these days to make that a non-issue. Look, I've always felt that an aftermarket deck was the best way to get premium sound. This is not a sponsored bit, guys. I've always trusted Pioneer because I thought they sounded the best. I thought they had the most modern features. And more importantly, they've always had the best processing. And that is certainly the case here with the inclusion of Atmos. They're the first brand to come out with an aftermarket Atmos deck that matches or rivals some of the best I've heard, whether that's in a Rivian or a Cadillac or a Maybach. Zeke knows what I'm talking about. We sat in a Maybach and we heard Dolby Atmos that was absolutely amazing. Now, there were more speakers in that car, but the fact that we can get even close with the speakers in this truck, where we have 6x9s in the back and then 6-inch component speakers with tweeters and 6-inch drivers in the front. I've added a subwoofer, but it's still a fairly limited speaker system. And yet this deck makes it sound like magic. Again, it may not be a perfect product, but for a first gen and the very first Dolby Atmos aftermarket receiver that you can get, honestly, I feel like Pioneer knocked it out of the park. If you've been on the hunt for a new aftermarket deck for your car, look at this one, because it's going to provide better sound and Dolby Atmos sound, as well as virtualized spatial audio. That's just a lot more fun for your vehicle. Guys, I hope you found this review helpful. If you have any other questions about this deck, drop them down in the comments. I'll do my absolute best to answer them. Don't forget to like this video, spread it around, subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, take care of yourselves. What kind of strobe are we doing?